The Iranian parliament has pledged to adopt strategic measures in response to the activation of the trigger mechanism. It asserted that reviving the trigger and reinstating 6 UN resolutions will not significantly impact Iran's economy. During a closed session, the parliament also debated the possibility of Iran withdrawing from the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, signaling a potential shift in its nuclear policy amid escalating tensions. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson Ismail Baqai has condemned 3 European countries for triggering the sanctions mechanism against Iran, calling it a move driven by Israel and the US. He accused Europe of abandoning its mediator role to unjustly pressure Tehran and questioning their legal authority to do so. Baqai stated that nuclear cooperation with the IAEA remains uncertain, with no active inspections currently. He blamed the US for Gaza's massacres and urged Europe to act independently and emphasized Iran's strategic coordination with Russia and China. Now we move to China, where leaders gather in Tianjin for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, shaping regional cooperation and strategy. Chinese President Xi Jinping has held bilateral talks in Beijing with the presidents of Iran, Turkmenistan, and Mongolia ahead of a major military parade commemorating the end of World War II. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian and the leaders of Turkmenistan and Mongolia attended. That comes as over 24 world leaders, including Russian President Vladimir Putin, who also met Xi bilaterally, are participating in the event. Chinese President Xi Jinping has met the Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim in Beijing during the World War II commemorations, attended by over 24 leaders, including Russian President Vladimir Putin. Earlier this year, Xi toured Southeast Asia, strengthening ties with Malaysia, Vietnam, and Cambodia amid strained U.S. relations. During his Malaysia visit, China and Malaysia signed 31 agreements covering trade, tourism, railways, agriculture. And in August, Malaysia announced China's offer of technical aid in rare earth processing, limited to state-linked companies. Russian President Vladimir Putin has stated that Moscow has never opposed Ukraine's potential EU membership, but views NATO expansion as a different issue. Speaking from China, he dismissed European fears of Russian attacks deeper into Europe as hysteria. And Putin claimed Russia's 2022 actions were reactions to Western and NATO attempts to dominate the post-Soviet space, threatening Russian security. He mentioned discussing Ukraine's security with US President Donald Trump and expressed optimism about finding consensus to ensure security if the conflict ends.
В ответ украинская сторона пытается нанести ущерб нам.
NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte has said NATO takes the jamming of the GPS signals very seriously, and the alliance is working day and night to prevent that jamming to ensure they will not do it again. And the GPS system of the European Commission, President Ursula von der Leyen's airplane was jammed while en route on Sunday to Bulgaria. Russian interference was suspected, and the Russian government did not immediately reply to a request for comment. In a statement, Bulgaria's government said the GPS signal was lost as von der Leyen's plane approached the southern city of Plovdiv, prompting air traffic controllers to switch to ground-based navigation systems to ensure a safe landing.
Etc. And we have agreed on policies there to really be...
Vietnam celebrated the 80th anniversary of its declaration of independence with its largest military parade in decades. The parade featured advanced military hardware, tanks, missiles, helicopters, and fighter jets, alongside thousands of troops, including personnel from China, Russia, and other nations. Naval celebrations were also held by the Cam Rana Bay, showcasing submarines and frigates, and mostly Russian-made. The parade featured advanced military hardware, tanks, missiles, helicopters, and fighter jets, alongside thousands of troops, including personnel from China, Russia, and other nations. The Serbian president and Slovak prime minister have arrived in Beijing to attend China's massive military parade, marking the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. And hosted by President Xi Jinping, the September 3rd Victory Day event will feature over 20 world leaders, including Russia's Vladimir Putin and North Korea's Kim Jong-un. The parade aims to spotlight China's military power and rising global influence amid warning U.S. engagement under President Trump. A dramatic display of hypersonic missiles, drones, and joint appearances by Xi, Putin, and Kim is expected to send a strong signal of solidarity against Western dominance, a moment some are calling the emergence of an axis of upheaval.